Welcome back, Mathias. It's been a long time since I've sort of hung out with you. I think the last time, where did I see you last? Lumpini?
Yeah, we see each other often, like on the stadiums, etc. Yeah.
I was looking at an old photo of me, you, and Leo. I think like right after COVID.
Patong.
Yeah, Patong Stadium.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was like what, maybe 3-4 years ago. Yeah, during the Super Champ fights in Patong.
Yeah, and a lot has changed for you in the last 5 years, I would say.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed in the last 5 years for you? And yeah.
So, well, obviously, I haven't fought for like the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously the main thing that has changed. And then I've turned more into that, like from being just a full-time fighter, like now to be more like I'm not gonna say a coach because I never like to call myself a coach or a teacher or a crew or whatever, all that stuff. Like I'm always a student. I'm always learning. But yeah, my role is a bit shifted now to like focusing more on the young and up and coming fighters rather than focusing 100% on myself. Yeah.
What would you say were some of the major changes that have occurred in these last 5 years that have maybe changed you into that position, or just in general as well?
With my gym, mine and my dad's gym growing and getting more popular amongst mostly Italians and Europeans, we have more fighters. You know, we have more young and up and coming fighters who come to us and look like for help from us, you know. They just they've seen my path, they've seen what we've done, and they want to emulate it, and they want our help, you know. So obviously I'm happy to do it. And then again, by not fighting for more than a year, then you know I have much more free time, and I invested in them because, you know, I still want to be involved in Muay Thai, and yeah, that's the way I do it.
Yeah, you've had a couple standouts over the last few years, Dazzy being one, and then you have a couple other boys.
Yeah.
What have they done, and why? I guess what have they done, and then separately, how has your gym grown, like in terms of numbers and in events, other things like that?
Yeah, so we have right now around four to five fighters, which obviously they are still growing. They're not in the main. They're not in like one championship yet because I choose to like. I could put them, to be honest, I put them in RWS sometimes, but I feel that sometimes maybe it was like a step too long, you know, it's too longer than the leg, you know. So I like to do it the way we used to do it back in the days, like try to make a deep career before going into the big shows, fighting with the big dogs, you know. But we're doing good, and you know, guys nowadays, like kids nowadays, they learn so fast.
Yeah.
You know? Whether it's guys or girls, like they just learn so fast, and also they have so much more information available to them. Like when I was starting up, like we didn't know anything, like, you know, we had to like figure it out all by ourselves. And like even just, you know, I tell them every day, I said, you guys are lucky because, you know, fighting at Lumpini, fighting at Numnoi, back in my days it was like, oh, you need to have that special contact, you need to know that guy that will put you through the Numnoi promoter or matchmaker. Like it was something, like it was something, you know. But nowadays, like just recently I had a girl coming, she's not a fighter of mine, but she comes often, like every year, and she wrote to me on WhatsApp before coming. She said, look, my big dream would be to try and fight at Numnoi. And I was like, okay, no problem. Next day I called and I was like, okay, I have this girl, 57 kilos, can she fight? Oh yeah, she can fight. Next day, fight was confirmed. And when she arrived, I said, hey, you are just arrived, but your fight is already confirmed. You have a program. And she's like, what? Like, you know, shocked, you know, because nowadays it's just much easier, and all the information that I've collected over the years, I can give it to them like easily, you know,
so fast.
So like they learn faster, they have much more tools to learn faster, and yeah. And the gym, I have to say, yeah, is been growing slowly because obviously we are in like we're not in cities, we're a very rural area, and people that come to our gym is really like they really focused on training, you know. They have no other goals, but that's what we want. We never wanted to build like a massive gym with like you know, people coming in and out. We try to keep it like a private club basically. Like we don't even let people come in for one training. training session. You know? We just like take like, you know, long term. But yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think that's definitely a good model. It's very easy to control. Other gyms do the same, like Sitsong Pinong is like, oh, you can come in once. Sigma Win, I think, is like, oh, if you're not a pro fighter, okay, bye-bye.
Oh yeah, that's also a pretty good approach.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can afford it.
I think they can afford it because of like the gambling side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you don't really think of yourself as a coach, but would you consider yourself as like a manager or what?
I do manage fights for the guys, for the fighters. Like I've basically taken over all the talking to the promoters, the dealing with the promoters. So I don't consider myself a manager either, but I guess part of my duty now is also that, because you know I know all the promoters, all the people in the industry, and I speak Thai, I talk the language, so for me it's super easy to communicate, and yeah, it's been good. Like I've gotten fights that I never thought I would, like recently, you know. So like, yeah, I guess.
What is an example of a fight that you got that you didn't think you would be able to get? I know you mentioned the 57-kilo woman, the Raja fight.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a smaller event, like the Russian knockout. So that's, let's say, pretty like quite easier. But just like sometimes I get promoters calling me, or like, you know, I don't know. It's just like, I never thought like that I could get in contact with the promoters and like just send fighters to events. Recently, I also sent someone to one championship, but unfortunately, he didn't get to fight because he got stopped by the doctor. Like, yeah, he had
like an eye tear or something.
Something in the doctor check. So yeah, but you know, I never thought I would be able to put someone in one championship, because you know I was a fighter. I never considered myself as a, you know, manager or anything. But yeah, like, step by step, the people you get to know over the years, then you know it adds up.
Do you think, what have you learned from sort of the fighting or from all this management part that you've taught the fighters? And is there anything like that you've learned that you were a little surprised about? I mean, you mentioned like, oh, this is definitely a new experience. I never thought I'd be able to do it. So you have to be learning a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm learning, like, mostly learning how to communicate with different kind of people, you know, because in this industry, like, as you know, we have like the newer generation and the older generation promoters, and this like differs a lot, you know, because I was used to communicating and dealing with older generation, like with the gamblers, with the old school promoters, and like you have to deal with them in a way that like you have to make them feel that you realize they're higher than you in society and you're lower, you know. So you have to like kind of like, you know, and then you'll get their respect to a certain extent. But then nowadays there's all these new like promoters, like it could be RWS, it could be like Legend Arena, like all these like newer promotions. Then you're talking to them as kind of like equals, which is kind of what would happen if, you know, overseas, you know, you're talking to someone, whether it's an older person or younger, like they would talk to you as an equal. As in before, when I used to talk to Thai promoters, you always, like you said, you're not an equal to them, you know, so you have to like act as a non-equal to them, otherwise they wouldn't communicate. So yeah, it's just learning how to communicate with people in different situations and different scenarios. Yeah. And
then going back a little bit, you sort of, do you think you'll fight again? And then let's ask that. That's
a question I ask myself every day, to be honest. Every time I watch a fight, then I'll ask myself, you know, should I not?
How old are you now?
I'm 32. I just turned 32 like a month ago, and honestly, like how do you say it, like thinking like without thinking, I want to fight, like, you know, sometimes I dream of, I would like to fight in one, like, you know, those like when I stop dreaming and I you know, I think about reality, my arm is like, it's much better than it used to be, but it's still not in fight shape, you know what I mean? And I will still have to get an extra operation to remove the metals inside, etc. So for now, it won't happen in the next few months. But you know, you never know. I'm 32. I'm not young, but I'm not that old either. You know? So you would never know. Like maybe in the next few years, you know, I get everything fixed, everything's good, and I still, like, you know, I still want to have that, you know, and then honestly, I haven't answered that question to myself either, so it's hard to answer to others.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, for some people, you know, sometimes it's about the fire as well.
Yeah,
you know, Topic recently was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this.
I saw that
anymore.
video. It was a very inspiring video.
Yeah,
very
it's very
inspiring.
good. You know, for myself, I'm 43. I definitely felt that. You know, when I was your age, I was still like hungry. I still wanted to do. I was just like, okay, let's go, let's try. And then time moves on. Like now I have more, if I wanted to, I have tons of opportunities. But
you don't have the motivation.
Yeah, I just don't have the motivation. It's like, oh, I have to wake up. Oh, I can't like do this and that. Like the fire is not the same anymore.
Yeah, motivation is the key, and it's been an issue with me at the end of my career. I got the last few years of my career, because I got to a point, like when I was still fighting actively, that I was only taking fights that gave me like goosebumps. I don't know, like the one that highly motivated me. Like I wouldn't take any fight that was to consider in my brain easy or like nothing at stake, you know what I mean? And that's also the reason why, you know, I think back and I said, how come I got this kind of bad injury, which is not that common? And you know, that year I only had one fight. I had opportunities to fight more often, but I didn't take them. Like it's not like I said no, but I openly said to my manager, I said, look, I'm only fighting for this and that. And I think that was a bad mindset in the first place. And I'm not saying like it's karma or whatever, but like Topic said, like you said, I didn't have that fire of like, you know, I'm gonna go through anyone that they put in front of me, like whatever, it's for the title, if it's for the Lumpini title or for the, you know, for whatever stupid prize there is, or in a temple fight. No, I wouldn't have done that, but I think you need that kind of fire in order to like perform at your best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, your last sort of run of fights was pretty good though.
Yeah, I mean, a few losses.
Losses.
I was fighting at the high level.
Very high level, like, you know, Saxon, Lamnamoonlek, Numnoi, you know, you did RWS, you did, you know, and then the arm breakage. What did you think of, you know, say fighting Saxon? That was the Lumpini birthday show, right? Or
no, it was Rashnamnan.
Rashnamnan
main event, yeah.
Main event.
That was Sosomai's promotion, so his own manager's promotion.
But I mean, you know, what did you think about some? It was Lamnamoonlek was at Lumpini though.
Yeah, that was some kind of Lumpini celebration. Yes,
birthday or something, I think. I mean, what were some of those last fights like for you? Like, do you remember anything cognizantly of fighting Saxon or fighting Lamnamoonlek?
Honestly, I'm so glad that my last few fights were at that level, because that was my goal since the start. Like, okay, I wanted to become a champion. I wanted like a stadium champion or whatever, but my main goal since I was a kid, it was to fight the best and like potentially win against the best, but to get there and fight against the best, because like, you know, there's so much back in my days there was not so much foreigners. Now there's so much foreigners fighting, but only a few get to fight the big names. And I'm not talking about bringing the big names to your home country or fighting them in, like, with all due respect, in one championship, which is also like, you know, high respect for all of them. But fighting the big names in the stadiums is not someone that everybody has done. You know what I mean? So that for me, that alone was amazing. Like, I was amazingly proud of that. When I got the call to fight Saxon, like I couldn't sleep. I was excited. I was actually taking my nap between one training and another, and I got the text and then I got the call, and like I was all day like this, like I couldn't sleep until like, you know, late night, because I was so like excited, like happy, you know, because like been looking at him for so long, and I never considered him that hard of a fight, to be honest. I was much more scared of other fighters. Like I was terrified of Numnoi, for example, terrified. But for Saxon, I was like, you know, I loved the opportunity because I didn't see him as someone that dangerous, and yeah, it was just great.
What did you think of that fight itself, and how did you feel in that fight?
I felt good, to be honest. I implemented a game plan that was something that I never thought I would be able to do back in the days. Like I was fighting southpaw, which is not my stance, and I was fighting as a fimu, or how you call it, like a technical fighter. I was on the back foot, you know, and it was weird, to be honest. Like I felt weirdly good. and obviously it didn't go my way. The judges saw it on Saksan's way. Also, you know, a lot of gambling involved and stuff. And then, yeah, after that fight, I learned that the gamblers like to see you fight your own style. They don't like to see you change style, you know. So if I would have to go back on it, I would probably just like make it like a dog fight, you know. But then, you know, cannot go back in time. But I'm very happy about that fight, to be honest. Every time I watch it, regardless of the loss, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's definitely something to be proud of. You know, it's definitely good. And traditionally, you have been a big proponent of the 5-round fights, and traditional sort of stadium fights. Is that something you still believe, or has that changed? Okay,
so like I said before, I like when fighters have a deep career. Deep, I mean like not maybe like 10 or 20 fights and going for the one championship belt, you know what I mean? I'm talking about fighting over and over again against Thais of whatever, middle level, low, middle, high level, like just building experience. And there's no better way to build experience than 5 rounds. And this is what I'm currently doing with one of my main fighters, Luca. You probably seen him fight. He's fought on all the LWC Super Champ and RWS. He's fought around, but now I'm just focusing on him fighting on 5 rounds until he gets enough experience to go back and fight on the big shows with the big names. Because he's fought on RWS, for example, twice, and he lost twice by like just he was missing that little extra experience, little extra like tricky mindset, you know, because he didn't have enough experience. His career was not deep enough. No matter how good you are, you need that depth in your career. So yeah, I'm still a fan of 5 rounds when it comes to building experience, but obviously nowadays we cannot deny the 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how, I mean, you sort of talked about the depth of it and how the 5 rounds help develop athletes. Do you think where now, I mean, the question is, where can you get that experience? I mean, that's, you know.
There's very little fights now, very little 5-round fights, but there are. I mean, there's Muay Thai, there's Numnoi, there's Lamnamoonlek from India and from Mai as well. I mean, maybe you can count them in one hand, but you know, you still, if you have the contacts, you can still get into the 5 rounds fight. But to be honest, it's not something I would recommend to everyone, because it's very hard to fight 5 rounds, not because of the fights itself. The fights are actually very well matched. That's what I love about 5 rounds. Because of the gambling, they need to match it well, and that's because sometimes RWS, one championship, all those fights, you often see like mismatches, you know what I mean? And I'm not throwing shit at anyone, like, you know, it's normal when you're matching someone from Russia against someone from freaking Ireland, that you know, like, it's hard to like, you don't have a common ground, because if you match fighters in Thailand, okay, you can watch the fight he had at Lumpini and you can watch the fight that he had at Lumpini, and you can kind of see the level. But if you're watching someone's fight like back at home, and the other guy also fighting in his home country, like, how can you really see the level, you know? So mismatches happen, but in 5 rounds they happen very, very rarely, and that's what I love about it. And I forgot the other part of the question.
I guess where are some of them was one of the questions. How do you think those 5-round fights help develop you as a fighter?
Just because
later on you definitely did 3-round fights. You know, you did Max. You were a stadium champ at Max when Max first got going, and then you know, you did RWS once and LWC.
I mean, 5 rounds, and I mean 5 rounds, like I said, it helps you build the experience because of the length of the fight, you know. You're staying in there for so much longer, you know, for 25 minutes, whether, okay, you're not fighting at full pace the whole 5 rounds, but you're still in the ring, and you get a lot of like more exchanges, more time to think, compared to 3 rounds where you really don't have much time to think. You just have to go and fight. As in 5 rounds, you get to like really like feel yourself inside the ring, and like just like really, I don't know, experience what you're experiencing, basically. Feel, you know, like you have time to actually, okay, I'm on the ring, I'm fighting, but in 3 rounds, no, you have to like, okay, boom, you know, like no thinking, just go, you know.
It's rounds like 3, 4, and like part of 5 in those 3-round fights. It's not a lot of time to really develop and feel that much. What, for Luca and other fighters, you know, how many fights are you looking to get for him? You know, let's maybe if we talk about it in stages,
Yeah.
okay, to get to RWS,
Yeah.
how deep do you think Luca needs?
So now he has 20 fights overall.
Well, that's okay.
And I mean, a couple of them being obviously in RWS and then one in Super Champ. So now he has maybe around 10 to a little bit more stadium fights. I think 20 stadium fights, 25 stadium fights is a good number. But I don't put any limits or any goal really. Like it all depends of how I see him on the ring, and when I see that okay, he's able to like make changes during the fight, he's able to read his opponents better, etc., etc. Then when the right opportunity comes, we'll take it. I'm a big fan of like I've changed a lot. Before I was like, I used to push to put them in this event, that event. Like I used to like try to break my way through the wall, But now I'm a big believer in opportunity and like going the way that I used to do it back in the days. Basically, like just training, having your career, and if an opportunity comes, you take it. Like without trying to push too much for something because I don't know, in this sport you can never like. Even if you get that crazy opportunity, then maybe something will change. They change your opponent, they change your fight date. Like, so I'm always like try to be flexible and like grab the opportunities that come along the way and make the most of them. And then
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And do you feel like Numnoi, who was your manager for a long time, did he teach you that? What was sort of your relationship with him like?
So Numnoi is actually still helping me out with Luca's fights. So he's still like managing only one of my fighters, which is Luca. He's because of the 5 rounds. I have less contacts in the 5 rounds because obviously I know all the promoters, but I've never, because of the reason we talked about before, I've never reached out to say like Kun Son Mai or like Siabot. As much as I know them, when I see them at the stadium, we talk, we shake hands or whatever, we vibe. But I've never like never reached out. I never had the need to really. But so I go through Numnoi because I know he has more respect from them than I do. And he's taught me a lot, like especially like this thing that I just talked about, like to not like push too much for things, like like the Sexan fight, it came as an opportunity. It's not, yes, he wanted me to fight Sexan, but you can never push too much, because if you push too much, maybe you'll get like the opposite reaction. They'll be like, oh no, I won't let you do that. So yeah, he just taught me of like, keep a good relationship with everyone, try to help people when they need help, and then they'll help you back. You know what I mean? And that's how Thailand kind of works.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. Just general business, business advice as well. Yeah. So, do you? I guess talking about Numnoi a little bit more, what was your relationship with him like in terms of how he fight managed you? Was it always like, okay, let's just see, or was it step by step? Where was he bringing you most of the time?
So, I mean, he knew that my ultimate goal was to be a stadium champion, which is what every foreigner fighting in the stadiums have. You know what I mean? But it depends. Some people when one championship came along, he was the first one to, hey, you want to go to one? And I said, I mean, not really, because I was honestly, I told everyone I was scared of the little gloves.
I think that's a pretty valid fear.
And he asked me over and over again, like when one was getting big, like was growing, and while Lumpini was born, and he obviously had the contacts to put me in, and he kept asking me, like, you want to fight in one? And I was still fighting in the 5 rounds, which like everybody was like leaving the 5 rounds to go to and he was like, you want to? And I was like, maybe not yet. Like I was, basically I was saying no, that I didn't want to. And I said, depends on the opportunity, depends how much they pay me, depends, a lot of things. And I told him, look, I'm not fighting with small gloves for double of the money I'm making now. Like if I'm fighting with small gloves, I'm fighting for like fucking, for real money, what I mean? Because I've never been in this for the money, I've never been in fighting sports for the money. So I had the privilege to choose, to be honest. And we were going to the final goal being stadium champion. He made it happen for me. It didn't go well, but he made it happen for me. And Yeah, it was kind of like step by step, but as I said, we were going with the flow. You know, we sometimes we were fighting Russian and sometimes we were fighting Lumpini also because of COVID. COVID changed a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
And then from fighting only at Lumpini, then after COVID, I was fighting only at Russian, which was weird and good at the same time because, you know, back in the days, if you were fighting at Lumpini, the chances of fighting at Russian were like slim, you know what I mean? And the opposite way as well. But after COVID, like everybody was just mixing up and sending fighters to other promotions, which you would never think it would happen, but yeah, it did.
So I guess you mentioned a little bit about the money stuff. Let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think the sport has money now? Or do you think the money and finances of the sport has changed in the last like 5 years?
It's definitely changed. I mean, now, like the people fighting now, they have much more chance of like, I'm not gonna say become rich, which they could, but make money, you know, they have that end goal, you know what I mean? At my time, I mean, there was Sagmani, Tawanchai, Lotang, like 4 or 5 guys making over 100,000, you know, and then there was maybe another 10 to 20 guys making 100K. And then all of us at the bottom were like making what, like 70, 60, 40, 50, you know, like making decent money for Thailand, but like, you know, even if you would, sorry?
Luca probably made like
Luca made more money than
40, 50K at RWS with like 20 fights, and you had, you know,
Exactly.
60, 70 fights, and you made, you know, about that much.
Exactly,
A
like
little more, but you know.
I mean, they're making much more money than, you know, like I was, sometimes we were fighting for very little, like especially after COVID, they cut all our purses down. Like there was a big news as well after COVID, which that Seksan was fighting for like 30K or something like this.
I
Like, you
remember
Yeah.
that.
And they were all like, oh, COVID, we have to cut your purse in half. And then that lasted for much longer, you know, like they reopened the stadiums and the fucking COVID excuse lasted, you know what I mean? And then finally, thankfully, RWS and one championship came along. Like that's like, you know, they raised the standards so high that now like everybody's expecting more money, you know what I mean? Now, like before, if they would offer you like 80K, it would be like, you know, party. And now like they're offering 80K and it's like, man, that's normal, you know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? And then it's good, it's good. I mean, if it can last, if the finances of these 2 big promotions can last, then I'm definitely like, I'm for it, you know what I mean? It's good, they can make more money, there's a better goal to achieve.
And do you see the sort of money going not just in purses, but say in the gym and other areas? Have you seen like the economy of the sport grow?
Muay Thai is definitely growing. Like I see it on my own gym, obviously, but I see it in general. Like okay, after COVID, a lot of gyms closed down, just like a lot of other business did. But after that, the ones that remained, I mean, it's been like growing, and it hasn't stopped yet. You know what I mean? And yeah, definitely like the industry is growing, and the demand for training itself, it's super high. And yeah, couldn't be happier about it. And that's also thanks to ONE and RWS. I mean,
100%. Where do you see the sport going in the next 3 to 4 years?
So 3 to 4 years, I think it might stay the same way as it is now. As maybe in 10 years, then we'll see maybe something change. But it's all about like, you know, how long can this cash flow can keep up, you know what I mean? Like especially with ONE championship, we all know the financial state of ONE championship, as in not the Thailand one. I mean the main company. We all know how it is. So it all depends of how long that can last. You know what I mean? And if they can eventually break even and start making money, and then I hope that happens, and then they can just like, you know, become the next UFC, which is what we all hope for in the business. You know what I mean? And I think honestly it's hard to predict like everything in life, but I think in the next few years it's going to stay this way, and then in 10 years we're going to see a big change. Like it's going to get even bigger, or it might, you know, come back to something more traditional as it was before. But
and then for you financially, do you feel like, you know, I know you're not fighting as much, but you're still in the sport and involved. Has your income sort of gone up over, let's say, the last 3 years?
Let's say like my main income is not from Muay Thai or from Thailand. Like some people that know me knows, like my family owns a company overseas in Italy, so we're involved with that, obviously. So that's where the main
main money.
Yeah. So I mean, for the Muay Thai, in the Muay Thai, yeah, for sure. It's like we said, the industry is growing. So more demand for trainings obviously turns into more, more money coming in for the gym. As for myself, yeah, like I said, my main focus is, I'm also focusing on that in the long term, which is the Italian company, because it's something that is already, my dad owns it, so it's basically I own it, and it's something that sooner or later I'm gonna have to be 100% involved with. So for now, other than obviously helping the guys in the gym, because I'm still here in Thailand and I want to do it, but yeah, my main focus, like mindset wise, is to try and shift to that as soon as possible, or like in the next few years, what I mean?
And then I know we sort of talked about this a little off camera. If things aren't financially motivated for you, why stay in the sport? Like, why be in Muay Thai still?
Because to be honest, that's the one thing I know how to do. You know what I mean? Like I'm zero experienced and zero skilled in every other field, which is what I tell myself after. To be honest, I can do quite a lot of things. I'm not a professional, but I can edit videos, I can do all that stuff, social media, and I can manage finances in a small. I can do a lot of things, but I'm not good. I'm not like someone that has studied at Harvard or whatever. I'm not a doctor or whatever. So Muay Thai is the thing that I know most about compared to all other aspects in life, And plus, the gym is something that me and my dad built already 10 years ago, and it was never with the goal of making it a massive business. He was just basically something for ourselves as a passion to build something, and then I don't want to let that go, you know what I mean? Even if one day I'm gonna have to move back to Italy, I'm gonna have to be involved in the company in Italy maybe 90% of my time, I'm still gonna try and find a way to keep the gym running. And also my dad likes Thailand, so he's still here, he's still going into the gym and shouting at the fighters, it's just we've both grown with Muay Thai, me and my dad, so yeah, we don't wanna
leave it.
We don't wanna let it go, yeah.
So wrapping things up, maybe two things. One, is there anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I think there was a question that I didn't answer fully. The one that I cut you off because I didn't remember. Did you remember? What was it? No.
No, okay, I don't remember.
No, I guess we talked about quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have anything else, you can ask me.
Yeah, definitely. Where can people find the gym if they're interested, and where can people follow along with your journey as well? Yeah,
so obviously social media, nowadays Instagram is the way. So my gym is 7 Muay Thai Gym, easy, and I'm Mathias with the 7, but they'll find it. And now also my content has changed a lot. Before I used to be mostly me fighting or training, and now I'm switching to other stuff, and I'm still figuring out if people are liking it or not, because it's a bit you used to be a fighter, now what the fuck are you posting, you know what I mean? But life changes, and life evolves, so yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing where you go in the future.
Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.